NASCAR Championship weekend right here around the corner, ready for Phoenix Raceway action to decide 4 champions in 3 days. This is the Inside Lane. I am your host, Devon Henry, and joining us on the Inside Lane, he is an 8-time NASCAR Cup Series winner, the 1979 ARCA 200 victor, and the winning car owner of the 1998 Charlotte 100. Analyst for NBC from Level Cross, North Carolina, it's Kyle Petty. Kyle, thanks for joining me.
Thank you, man. I like the way you got in 1979. So that's the last century. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, man.
Hey, well, I mean, the Petty family has some sort of illustrious, rich, long-time history. I guess you guys have been around for a little while or something like that. So you guys have some records here, some records there, and now you're working with NBC. You bring great insight week in and week out to the NASCAR Cup Series and Xfinity Series. But I was actually at Kansas. I was in Victory Lane when you're talking with Kyle Larson alongside Dale Jarrett. Everyone has the big old jackets on, everyone's shivering. Are you excited to finally come somewhere this postseason where it's supposed to be warm outside?
Keyword's supposed to be warm, but yes, I am. It is good to get out of the South. It's good to get out of the Northeast. It's good to get to Phoenix, and forget the weather. It's good to get to Phoenix because of the racing. As you said, we're going to name champions this weekend. It is so for truck, Xfinity, the Cup. I mean, the Cup stuff has been so intense this year. It is crazy. You wouldn't think it had been that intense with Kyle Larson win like every other race, it seems like. But you know what Denny Hamlin has done, what Chase Elliott has done, what a lot of these guys have done, have put together impressive years and deserve that opportunity in Phoenix.
And once we are here at the track for the NASCAR Cup Series race, it's winner takes all. That's it. All you got to do is beat the other 3 competitors in the race for that championship. Who do you think has the biggest advantage being at Phoenix Raceway?
You make it sound so easy. All you got to do is beat the other 3 competitors. This is Cup racing, man. It's not that easy. You have got to give the nod to Kyle Larson. You just have to. I mean, a guy who's won so many times, who's led so many laps. It's called the Big Mo. It's momentum, man. It's confidence. It's all of that wrapped into one. And I go back to last year, and I go back to Chase Elliott having that pit road thing at Martinsville, where the crew member jumped over the wall too early, goes back, tags up just like he's a base runner, comes back around, and they lose a couple of positions, and that's it. I go to Charlotte, to the Roval this year. And the 5 car, Kyle Larson, they have the battery goes dead. The alternator belt comes off. They put an alternator belt on it. Sorry about that. They put an alternator belt on it. They put a battery in it, and boom, they're back out there and they win the race. They come back to win the race. So when you look at moments like that, it's almost like it's predestined that these guys are going to win the championship. So you got to go through Kyle Larson if you're going to win this thing.
And last year when Chase Elliott won the championship, he hadn't had a win. He ran really well. He had poles at Phoenix, finally broke through and got that win. Kyle Larson, no victory at Phoenix, but you look back at the last few races that he's ran there, top 10s, top 5s sprinkled in. But looking at that dog-legged 1-mile oval, both you and your father, Richard, were at that inaugural race back in 1988. In your mind, what makes Phoenix Raceway worthy of hosting the NASCAR Championship?
You know, I think the track itself does. So let's just look at the history of the track through the IndyCar series. We go back to, man, I ran the first time there in 79, 80, 81. We run a West Coast race there and came out there. So even before the Cup guys came, I think the history of the track is just one piece of the element. I think the other element are the NASCAR fans that are in the Phoenix area, the NASCAR fans that come out of Nevada, that come out of California, that come out of New Mexico, that come out of West Texas, that come there. It's the fans. If you live on the East Coast, man, you're in NASCAR heaven. I mean, you can go to a lot of different places. On the West Coast, we have few opportunities, and Phoenix is a show place. What they have done with that facility has been amazing. But they did that not for the competitors. They didn't do that for the guys that ride around in circles out there. They did that for the fans, and I think it deserves this race because of the fan base that we have in Arizona.
And when you look at now that it is essentially the most fan interactive track in all of NASCAR, you know a thing about fan interaction being a fan favorite. for so many years in the car, out of the car. And okay, so you actually did a Reddit session recently, an AMA to talk with the fans. And I mean, when we have the evolving nature of fans and interaction, how do you think that NASCAR needs to continue evolving to keep up with being the most interactive sport in America?
You know what? They just have to move with the trends. You have to, listen, what, 6 years ago, who was talking TikTok? Now we better be on TikTok. Somebody better be using that stuff. You know what I mean? Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, live chats. You talk about Reddit. We have to be able to utilize all that stuff. And we can't be a follower. We have to be a leader in those industries. We have to be the first person there. We have to be the first people that show other sports what we can do. I felt like NASCAR did a great job of coming back and being the first sport back on the field when the pandemic, as the pandemic broke and as the pandemic moved forward. The safety protocol, other industries, other sports followed NASCAR. I think we have to be that way for social media, but at the same time, we've got to make it exciting for fans to come out to the racetrack. And I think Phoenix has done a tremendous job of that. When you walk around outside the racetrack, there's almost more going on outside the racetrack than there is inside the racetrack. And that's cool. It has to be an event. It has to be a happening. Yes, there's cars on the racetrack. Yes, you can see Joey Logano and Chase Elliott and William Byron and all these stars and all these future superstars of our sport. But at the same time, you can go out in the parking lot and check out the Toyotas, check out the Fords, check out the Chevys, see what next year's car is going to look like. Understand some of that stuff. And you look at all the Coca-Cola exhibits and everything that's there. It's just it makes it an event. And that's what we have to have, our events, not just races.
Chatting with Kyle Petty, a multi-time NASCAR Cup Series winner and analyst for NASCAR and NBC. Dude, you have had a ridiculous fall season. I got to look back and look at the Kyle Petty charity ride across America because pandemic, it's completely obliterated it this past year. I know that you guys want to get out there, raise money for Victory Junction. And so you said, you know what? We got to do this. So you guys did a revival tour, if you will, to go ahead and get you guys out there, raise some money for Victory Junction. And this is the busiest time of year for you. You have to travel to the races. You have to be there for NBC on top of all of your other already doing duties. And then you have this on top of that for Victory Junction. Why did you decide, hey, you know what, man, I know this isn't the time of year that we do this. I know I'm really busy right now, but this is a priority to get done right now.
Okay, first, this is why the thing's shaking. So I'm babysitting a little bit. Sorry about that. But,
no worries.
And it's not babysitting because it's my kid. So that's the way it is. But the thing is, we felt like we had to have the charity ride to stay in front of the public. 2019 was our 25th anniversary of doing this thing, man. And it was crazy. We went from Seattle, Washington to Key West, Florida. We went all the way across the country. This year, or in 2020, we had to back it down. And we couldn't do it. We were coming to Phoenix. That was our ride, man. That was our 26th anniversary ride. We were doing Phoenix, Lake Havasu, Flagstaff. We were going up to Bryce Canyon, over to Monument Valley, back down to Sedona, and then back to Phoenix. So this year we just did a revival. We did a short ride, but we are headed back to Phoenix in 2022. That's our ride. We're going to leave from the Wigwam. We're going to ride all out through Lake Havasu, ride up to Flagstaff. So Arizona is going to be tired of Kyle Petty and the Kyle Petty charity ride by the time we ride through your state for a solid week next April or May. But we are really, really excited about it.
Man, looking forward to that. And I think what I'm hearing, Kyle Larson. Is that the championship prediction out of the little man there? Kyle Larson, yeah, I keep hearing.
Listen, that's exactly what he's saying. He and about 98% of America is saying Kyle Larson. Look, when you look at the year that Kyle Larson has had, not only in Cup, but in dirt cars, sprint cars, dirt asphalt, or asphalt car. It doesn't make any difference what he set in this year. He's been a winner. This is a year that every driver dreams of. When you start racing, you dream of being able to, like you said, dream of being able to jump in anything and win. And that's it, man. That's it. It's his year.
Last one for you before I let you go, Kyle, and let you get back to the parenting world. We got to talk about with what you just announced this past week, your memoir, SWERVE or Die, Life at My Speed in the First Family NASCAR Racing. My boss continues to tell me and other people, everyone has a story. Sometimes it's this big, sometimes it's this big. Yours is about yay big or so with the first family of NASCAR. But when you decided to go out and put out this book, put out your memoir, What do you want your readers to take away? What is the purpose of you going out and writing this book coming out in August of 2022?
You know what? The main purpose was as the pandemic hit and you're sitting at home with this generation, and you're looking at things, you're thinking, I want them to know what my life was like, what it was like growing up with their granddad, with Richard Petty, what it was like going to the racetrack with my sisters in the back of a station wagon, not what it was like flying everywhere and staying on a bus and living the life of luxury, what it was like when my dad was grinding it out year after year, what it was like when I started, as you said, back in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, and to race against some of these guys and to do some of the things we've done. So, I started thinking about it, started writing stuff down, got in touch with a guy who could help me and edit it and do all that stuff. So it's been a long process. It's been a 2-year process. But at the same time, it's been very therapeutic too, because I talk about my son, Adam, my uncle, Randy, that was killed on pit road at Talladega when I was growing up, the loss of my mother. With all, I think, I don't care who you talk to. With the highest highs, there's always associated the lowest lows. And there's been a lot of them, both ways. And I've had a good life. And not that it will inspire anybody or it will change anybody's life, but I hope it entertains some people. And, the thing is, I was tentative to call it that, Swerve or Die, because of Adam's accident, honestly. But at the same time, it's the perfect title because that's what we all do. That's what NASCAR has done. We swerve and turn in a different direction so we don't become stagnant and so we stay relevant. And that's the whole point. You don't want to die. You want to stay relevant as a sport. I do, you do, we all do. That's why we keep changing the things we do. We're doing this interview. Next thing I know, I'm going to be the one calling you, interviewing you, because you're going to write your story and it's going to be a movie and it's going to be a big hit. And I'm going to say, I knew that guy win. I knew that guy win, man. So everything changes and you've got to be ready for that when it happens. And you got to understand it and keep moving, man. You just got to keep moving. And that's what this book is all about.
Well, Kyle, I look forward to seeing you when we are right here in Phoenix. Cannot wait for that book to come out August of 2022. But for now, I'll see you in Phoenix, man, when we crown a champion. Thank you for your time here today, Kyle.
All right, man. Thank you very much. Say bye. Bye.